Hey, what's up, friends? Good morning. It's been a little while. Kids are out for the summer. Schedules are changing around. The wife's been away for almost a week at a conference. There's not been a lot of time to be in the shop and making stuff and filming stuff, but I'm still here doing my thing. I'm gonna have that smash and grab drop coming up very soon. We've got a few made. I'm gonna get the rest of those done. I got some new product in I'm really psyched about. I'm gonna make a different video for that. Some first time dabbling in the shell cordovan leather, really premium stuff. So I'm gonna have a small drop, I think, of smash and grabs maybe. I think I have enough for 3 or 4, so that'll be pretty cool. I'm really psyched to work with that and check it out. I've never used it before. And today I'm making a E-Series Ambi slip slim. So I'm gonna put you guys onto that, and if that's sort of thing that interests you, stay tuned. I try to whittle it down to about, I think it's like 9 or 10 minutes. So if you got the attention span for that, I'm gonna do a voiceover, just kind of talk through some of those parts, and then I'll see you on the next video for the shell stuff. And I thank you very much for watching. This is Ryan with Failsafe Goods. Give them hell. So I have a lot of my pieces cut ahead of time for when I get an order. I'll just grab the stuff out of a box and then I'll just start putting it together. I'm just taking the edges, beveling them off the part that holds the clip, and then the top parts of the slip here. Once it's put together, it's a little bit harder to get a smooth bevel, so I try to do it ahead of time. Sometimes when you go from over multiple pieces and then drop down to less pieces of leather, the difference in thickness can mess it up. So I'm just using the wing divider, get my stitch line marked out, and then I mentioned this marker before. I do a Tokenol water solution. If you're into leatherworking, you should definitely think about grabbing one. It doesn't always work with every type of leather, but it is pretty handy when it does work nicely. And I clean these edges up because once you glue it on, obviously you can't burnish it quite the same. And slide that clip in. I have to put this on a junk piece of leather a couple times. I notice there's a little bit of grime in between. I think it's just from milling process. That avoids getting a black smudge. See, we got rivets. These I usually get from Tandy Leather Supply, but Buckle Guy has them too. And I just kind of pop that in. The hole in the clip's a little small, so I can kind of force it there, but they do work. And I've never had one of those fail. And I just press that down in my arbor press, get a nice flat, or you can use a hammer and then make a little set. One more burnish around the top, and then I'll get it sticking together. Fast forward through a lot of this. So here you can see sometimes I'll lay it flat and rub the edges. You can get sort of almost a contrast from the edge to the middle with a heat burnish. It gives it a nice little look. I do it real subtle, but I do it a lot. A big stamp, little stamp. This is an old school press. I can actually use it as a metal foiler, but I just never do that. I don't really think it fits my leather style. But this is E-Series, so I mark it with my small stamp and an E. Put a little hole in the back for drainage, and also if you get a really tight fit. Sometimes you get a little suction actually on a sheath, so that kind of helps with that. Glue on. I let that actually sit for a minute so it tacked up. I edited that out. And then I just measure the spacing of the side, make sure it's centered as best as possible. A little heat. Get that glue nice and set. And here I am cutting my welt. And just trimming the edges so I can get that in there. I'm going to stitch on the clip. It has to be done first, obviously. Once it's all glued together, you're not going to be able to get the needles in and out. And thread on. The stitching part I find like pretty dull to watch, so I tend to speed that way up just to get it over with. Melt the back, smush out that leather, keep it from coming loose. The saddle stitches I use, it shouldn't ever come loose anyway. It never has, but redundancy is always good. Keep things set. All right, so more glue and get that spread and tacked up. It works best if you do both sides. A little heat, speed things along. I got this heat gun off Amazon. It's super cheap. It's nice to kind of move things along any way you can. Expedite things, be more efficient. So the welt's in, line it up, make sure there's no squeeze out. I've got the bottom piece last. I do the long pieces first and then the little piece in the middle. Same reason for, like, you know, if it ever got water in it, just like if you were like trimming out a window, do the long so like the water has somewhere to go straight down through. I don't imagine that being an issue here, but that's why I do it that way. Then I just rough up the other side of the welt, the smooth side. When things are real rough, obviously the glue is going to penetrate and stick better. Sometimes if you have real smooth leather and you just glue it when you start stitching, sometimes you can kind of want to pull apart on you when you push the needle through. So that helps me avoid that. Checking things out. So doing my edges, usually I do this after I stitch and finish everything, but with these type of slips, I have that little accent of leather, so I'll finish the edges. And that way it's got the burnish under the stitching that loops over. Otherwise it'll be rough, of course, and trying to bevel into looped thread just doesn't work. So there we go. Knocking that off. I just got this new beveler from Buckle Guy. It is such a huge improvement over the cheapo one I've been using forever. It's wild how much better it is. Definitely should have gotten it sooner, but sometimes I'm cheap and I just put any profits into more leather, or, you know, with a family, you gotta do things with your money and you can't put it all into tools. Yeah, so just showing the kind of glossy edge here. Looks nice, and then I'll stitch it up. I'm gonna do a super fast forward through there again. Have this set at 30 times the normal speed with a few cuts. Typically takes me like about 10 minutes to make my way around most of the items I make. And here we go, getting that orange accent, the Erica orange. I think it's called Tiger Orange. It's a Vinimo is the brand of thread. I only use their thread on like accents. Otherwise, I pretty much use Main Thread Company. They're pretty local to me. It's a family-owned business. That thread zapper pen kind of sucks. It's giving me a hard time, but got it melted in there. I don't use a lighter on there. I don't like the way it looks. It can discolor the leather. Heat up the stitch. There's wax in the stitching, so it kind of melts it, sets everything real nice. Get that slicker in there, one last polish, and that's it. So thanks for watching. Here's a test fit. It's a Stonehawker spike. As I've mentioned, there's quite a few different knives that'll fit into this. But that's it. Thanks, guys.